Hi, everyone. Once again, we had some more technical difficulties, but what are you gonna do? We're a bunch of stuffed animals and one human. Here we are, episode 4. I hope you found our recorded version of episode 3, which was our interview with a friend of ours who is a piece of bread. That went interestingly. So this week, in an effort to be less technologically challenging, I was just gonna answer some questions that have been submitted over the week. And if you find this video, you can submit your comments, your questions in the comments. I'm not quite sure if you're gonna find us. Okay. So anyway, back to the important stuff, which is some questions. So a lot of times people will text me or email me stuffed animal related questions, and I do have a few. Let's see, let me share with you some of them. So this one was sent to me by a friend who he was actually doing some yard work, and he happened to notice these lawn bags from Lowe's. It says, "Whoo, I'm stuffed," right? Kind of a funny thing, and he wasn't sure if whether or not that was an offensive thing to a stuffed animal. And I told him I would investigate and ask some stuffed animals, and it was, different stuffed animals have different feelings on the matter, just like with humans. One thing, those bags do seem somehow similar to our SARF t-shirts that we've put out. They say, "No thanks, I'm stuffed." And it's a stuffed animal who's saying no thank you when someone's offering him food. And he's doing it because he's a stuffed animal, right? And stuffed animals don't really eat. If you're a human and you're at the dinner table and you've eaten too much and you say, "Oh, I'm stuffed," that's a little bit offensive, maybe to a stuffed animal. Once again, it depends on the stuffed animal, but in the sense you're saying, "Oh, this bad thing has happened to me, like I've overindulged, I'm stuffed," like being stuffed is bad. And also you're stuffed with food, you're not stuffed like a stuffed animal would be. So, but back to these lawn bags. I personally just think it's kind of a fun play on words, but I think you should just check with the stuffed animals that are with you. It's okay to ask them how they feel about things like this. And just as I've said before, just being open and honest about things. Okay, so this is a something that someone sent to me, and it's kind of a somewhat tragic. She was walking in a park. It was a Circle C park, and she came across this stuffed animal on the ground. And so she texted me and she said, "Send help." Well, first of all, unfortunately, we at the SARF don't really have the resources to send help. I wish we did. And I wish we had a bigger budget. But the reality is that we can't send help. So if you come across a stuffed animal in this situation, I asked her, I said, can you grab it for me? Can you get it for me and bring it to me? Because I can, take care of it, either try to reunite it with its living companion, or, if that unfortunately can't happen, then to find it a new home. And she said she didn't want to disturb what she thought might be a crime scene. So there's a few things about that. First of all, unlike if you came across a human that was obviously, laying and not moving on the ground, you would think, you would call for help, kind of like what she did, tried to. But you would know that there was something, something potentially very bad happening. Not necessarily a crime scene, but that person was in some sort of distress. Now, with a stuffed animal, just because, this stuffed animal is not moving, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a crime scene. And it might not even be injured. It could be that it was somehow dropped by its living companion, and maybe that living companion is trying to find it. And hopefully that living companion found this stuffed animal shortly after this picture was taken. I hope. But you don't have to treat it like a crime scene. I understand that initial thought. But, also our police departments, unfortunately, also don't have the resources to investigate stuffed animal crimes or potential crimes, or missing stuffed persons, missing stuffed animals reports. So, if you come across a stuffed animal like this and there's no one around that could be a living companion, you can always take it in and bring it to the SARF. You can email me, put it, you can protect it in a bag, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I can try to reunite it with its living companion, or, like I said, fix up if it needs to be fixed, helped in any way, and then potentially find a new home for it. But yeah, I can't immediately come to rescue it, and it's just unfortunately the way things are. Someone had a cool, let's see. Oh, this is actually something that someone thought I would find amusing, and I did. So I thought I would share it. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to play it for you, but there is a very funny and cute living pig that apparently ate a lot of fermented corn, and it's snoring, and it's kind of asleep, and it rolls down a hill. It's cute. Check it out. It's under this person's Twitter. Okay. So one more question from the past. This person says when he was a boy, he had a stuffed orca that he slept in the bed with, and he also had a plastic decoy duck that he also slept in the bed with. And basically he's saying that he didn't really ever feel attached to either of them, and he also felt that they didn't feel attached to him. And he's wondering, in retrospect, as an adult, is there something wrong with me, he says. I mean, the short answer is no. There is nothing wrong with you. Some people don't attach to stuffed animals, and some people, just like you have dog people and cat people. You have stuffed animal people, or not. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your stuffed orca or the decoy duck. And I'm sure that hopefully they have moved on and have found some living companions if they wanted to. You know, it could have been that you were all a good match. Maybe they didn't need very much emotional support from living companions. So you never know. But no, there's definitely nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with either of them. Let's see. We've got a few questions. Let's see, from our comments. I have a very old bear friend that is in need of cleaning and repair. The poor guy lost his nose and is very sad about it. Do you know of anyone in the Austin area that could help? Well, so the SARF has gone through phases where we do take in patients from the public. Depending on the lost nose, it could be something that we can do. If you'll send an email, I'm going to say there are a lot of different emails on our website, but you can actually maybe send a message through Facebook, or there's the SARF email at Gmail. I've been using Gmail for the SARF. There are plenty of ways to get in touch with me, but if you can send a photo of the bear and his with his missing nose, then I can evaluate it and see if it's something that we can repair. And that actually leads me to my second thing that I wanted to talk about beyond some questions today. And that is that, so in addition to being a stuffed animal physician, I am also the head of business development and real estate research for the Stuffed Animal Rescue Foundation. And prior to this pandemic, we were trying to plan for the future. And in that future, we were hoping to have a permanent SARF headquarters. It would be a building where we could have kind of permanent petting zoos and a stuffed animal hospital where we could treat walk-in patients with co-pays. Also, love to do workshops and group therapy sessions, and kind of a nice community resource for the stuffed animal community of Austin. So the pandemic has kind of disrupted our search, and we're hoping that by the time it ends, we'll have a really good idea of what we want and some ways of funding it. But in the meantime, we've been looking through some images of buildings that we like, and we're starting to talk to some stuffed architects. So we actually got a drawing in today from one of our stuffed architects, which was kind of interesting. But let me just show you some of our thoughts. We've been looking at some classic buildings. I think that we would like something that fits in the environment well. This Frank Furness is one of my favorite really strange architects. There's a quirkiness. I think we'd enjoy like a quirky building. Obviously something maybe innovative. The stuffed animal is a pretty obviously technologically savvy organization. We're fairly high tech. So something like gregarious would be cool. We don't want run of the mill, maybe a little gaudy, but classy and modern. So we've been soliciting drawings, and we're really not sure how we're going to go about it. But stay tuned for some more of our plans. We'll keep you up to date on that. But just thinking of some things. So our first drawing that we got in was today was from a stuffed architect who, it's a very basic design, but we don't have much of a budget, so we probably will be starting small. But I thought that this was a great first go at it. So we're going to be building on it, and we might even be asking for some drawings from the public. If you have any stuffed animals who are architecturally savvy, we might be calling on that soon. So let's see if we have any more. Let's see. My stuffed animal, Dina, wants a child but refuses to go with polyester. Oh gosh. I don't necessarily want to get into stuffed animal reproduction or propagation. But I will comment on materials at least. Stuffed animals have been getting softer over time. There's a microfiber trend that has been going on for a few decades now. And at first, it was very fun. Your stuffed animal is very soft. And people tend to enjoy soft stuffed animals. But if you feel an older stuffed animal that's made out of like wool or cotton, they feel different. And I'm not saying that the newer stuffed animals are inferior. I am just saying that the future manufacturing of stuffed animals, I hope that they will be including more natural materials again, because I think it doesn't cost as much to bring a stuffed animal into the world using a microfiber shell, and I think that leads to kind of overcrowding issues in stores. Economically, it almost makes them seem disposable in a way, and they're not meant to be disposable. So I just encourage you to look out for natural materials in stuffed animals in the future. Okay, let's see. We have one more question. What's the SARF's position on Beanie Babies? My apologies if this has been answered previously. It has not been answered previously. Beanie Babies are just another genre species of stuffed animals. I think Beanie Babies have a place definitely in the history of stuffed animals. Like anthropologically, they have a very distinct culture. We have had some Beanie Babies come to us requesting that they have stuffing replacements, and they've turned out great. If that's something, if you have some Beanie Babies that are interested in replacing their stuffing, like if they've never really felt comfortable as Beanie Babies, but if they've wanted to maybe transition into a more classically stuffed animal, it's totally acceptable. it, but it's also obviously totally acceptable to remain a Beanie Baby. I mean, Beanie Babies are great. We had a lovely Beanie Baby um, who was a bear, and he was one of our great reform stories. He was adopted by a woman who worked in the Travis County Corrections facility, which was perfect because he had actually been an inmate at Stuffed Alcatraz, and his story is on our website. His name is Horace. You can read about him. But yeah, we've had all sorts of different Beanie Babies. Not all of them were former criminals who have been reformed. Um, they're 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 lovely creatures, and they fit in with the stuffed animal community just like any other stuffed animal or stuffed entity, like our stuffed bread from last week. Let's see, do we have any more questions? I don't see any. Okay, so thank you so much for joining in. I apologize for our stream getting weird at the beginning, but that's come to be expected with the SARF's live broadcast. But we will see you next week for episode 5, and I'm sure we'll have some very exciting questions for you, and answers, actually. If you have exciting questions for us, then we'll give you the exciting answers. Okay, and if you have any thoughts on the new stuffed animal headquarters of the SARF, please leave them in the comments. We're always open to feedback. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.